Hello everybody. I haven't done any of this for a while. I'm going to be reading some more of the Great Gatsby. Uh, you can look at, you record on YouTube, then you can see if anybody looked at what you recorded. And on the last installment of Great Gatsby, 0 people looked at it. That's okay. I'm going to the end, baby. This is for me. So, page 78 to page, I don't know, 82, we'll probably read that. Hang on a minute. Wait. I think I actually am starting on page 82. That's right. It's Jordan Baker who's explaining to Nick Carraway Daisy, basically explaining the relationship Daisy and Gatsby had, telling the story. So I left off where Tom Buchanan got in a car accident, and in the car accident was the chambermaid from the Santa Barbara Hotel, which I believe is where they were staying for a while, he and Daisy. All right, this is Jordan Baker speaking, so I'll get all womanly on you. The next April, Daisy had her little girl, and they went to France for a year. I saw them one spring in Cannes and later in Deauville, and then they came back to Chicago to settle down. Daisy was popular in Chicago, as you know. They moved with a fast crowd, all of them young and rich and wild, but she came out with an absolutely perfect reputation, perhaps because she doesn't drink. It's a great advantage not to drink amongst hard-drinking people. You can hold your tongue, and moreover, you can time any little irregularity of your own, so that everybody else is so blind they don't see or care. Perhaps Daisy never went in for a more at all, but there's something in that voice of hers. Well, about 6 weeks ago, she heard the name Gatsby for the first time in years. It was when I asked you, do you remember, if you knew Gatsby and West Egg? After you had gone home, she came into my room and woke me up and said, "What Gatsby?" When I described him, I was half asleep. She said in the strangest voice that it must be the man she used to know. It wasn't until then that I connected this Gatsby with the officer in her white car. When Jordan Baker had finished telling me all this, we had left the plaza for half an hour and we were driving in a Victoria through Central Park. The sun had gone down behind the tall apartments of the movie stars in the West 50s, and the clear voices of little girls already gathered like crickets on the grass rose through the hot twilight. Oh, I don't know the song. Oh, yeah. I'm the Sheik of Araby. Your love belongs to me. At night when you're asleep, into your tent I'll creep. Something like that. Kind of creepy song. It was a strange coincidence, I said. But it wasn't a coincidence at all. Why not? Gatsby bought that house so that Daisy would just be across the bay. Then it had not been merely the stars to which had aspired on that June night. He came alive to me, delivered suddenly from the womb of this purposeless splendor. He wants to know, continued Jordan, if you'll invite Daisy to your house some afternoon and let him come over. The modesty of that demand shook me. He had waited 5 years and bought a mansion where he could dispense starlight to casual moths so that he could come over some afternoon to a stranger's garden. Did I have to know all this before he could ask such a little thing? He's afraid. He waited so long. He thought you might be offended. You see, he's a regular tough underneath it all. Something worried me. Why didn't he ask you to arrange a meeting? He wants her to see his house, she explained. And your house is right next door. Oh. I think he half expected her to wander into one of his parties some night, went on Jordan. But she never did. Then he began asking people casually if they knew her, and I was the first one he found. It was that night he sent for me at his dance, and you should have heard the elaborate way he worked up to it. Of course, I immediately suggested a luncheon in New York, and I thought he'd go mad. I don't want to do anything out of the way, he kept saying. Want to see her right next door. When I said you were a particular friend of Tom's, he started to abandon the whole idea. He doesn't know very much about Tom, though he said he's read a Chicago paper for years just on the chance of catching a glimpse of Daisy's name. It was dark now, and as we dipped under a little bridge, I put my arm around Jordan's golden shoulder and drew her toward me and asked her to dinner. Suddenly I wasn't thinking of Daisy and Gatsby anymore, but of this clean, hard, limited person who dealt in universal skepticism and who leaned back jauntily just within the circle of my arm. The phrase began to beat in my ears with sort of a heady excitement. There are only the pursued, the pursuing, the busy, and the tired. And Daisy ought to have something in her life, murmured Jordan to me. Does she want to see Gatsby? She's not to know about it. Gatsby doesn't want her to know. You're just supposed to invite her to tea. We passed a barrier of dark trees and then the facade of 59th Street. A block of delicate pale light beamed down into the park. Unlike Gatsby and Tom Buchanan, I had no girl whose disembodied face floated along the dark cornices and blinding signs. So I drew up the girl beside me, tightening my arm. Her wan, scornful mouth smiled, and so I drew her up again, closer, this time to my face. Oh, is that not beautiful? Oh, God, to be able to write like that, that's such beauty. Such beauty, you know. God, this is such a great book. This is such a great opportunity to get a chance to read this. And the pictures are so beautiful. The thoughts and the words and the lives of these people. I'm just so happy that F. Scott Fitzgerald was able to bring these people to life. We have brought them alive again and again and again through our reading and through our movies. What an honor.